Hi, this is Clark Gillies from the New York Islanders. You're listening to the SNDP Podcast Show. Go get them, boys.
Welcome to a very special edition of the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. That was Division 1.1 with Freak Show. Dan is here. I'm Steven. What's going on, Dan?
Not much. Hockey season's a week away.
Yes, hockey season.
I'm very excited. We're going to have an awesome show tonight.
Yes,
we're going to, obviously, like we've been promoting, the Garazanos are both going to be on the show. Andy and his son Andrew, or AJ like we call him, they're both going to be sharing about what they expect out of the Islanders for AJ's sake.
We promise we'll treat AJ nice for his first time.
Yes. And Andy's definitely going to be talking about his beloved Islanders and all around the hockey stuff.
Yes.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's definitely going to be interesting when we both have father and son into the same segment and talk about division winners and everything like that and award winners.
Yes.
So stick tuned to this. And here we're going to start off with Andy on from Eyes and Isles.
And welcome back to the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Freak Show. This is the NHL season preview show. Dan and Steven are here, and we would like to welcome our good friend from Eyes on Isles. You heard him on most of our hockey shows from last year, and our NFL preview show. He does all of our preview shows for us. How about that?
Yeah.
And welcome back, Andy.
What's up, Andy?
How you doing, boys?
Good. Congrats on your 3-0 Dolphins. Before we start the hockey preview, congrats on that so far. So,
hockey's a week away.
Good news for Andy before we start. Eyes on Isles. If you've been living under a rock with our show and not following Andy like we tell you every week, Eyes on Isles have press credentials with the New York Islanders this year. Congratulations to that. How's it going so far with that?
It's been unbelievable. You know, it's been kind of a surreal kind of thing where you go from like a hardcore fan like I've been for over 30 years to all of a sudden being in the locker room with these guys that we've looked up to all that time. And, you know, I think the most difficult transition has been in going from fan to media in the fact that, you know, you really have to control yourself in there. You walk in for the first time and here they are standing right to you, waiting for you to come talk to them. And it's kind of hard not to get awestruck and kind of, the deer in headlights feeling where you kind of like freeze. Same thing when you're in the press box covering a game. You know, there's no cheering, there's no animation, there's no fist pumps. You can't do any of that when you're up there. So it's quite a transition to have to make. But, we thank the Islanders PR staff for giving us the opportunity. And I think we've been doing a really great job with it so far. And it's something that has been a great experience all around.
Very nice, very nice. So what have you seen? I know you've been to a couple practices so far. What have you seen out of players on the ice?
Well, we got a chance to go to the rookie camp first. That's what we experienced for the first time. Our first press event was that, and then we were able to go to Barclays for the opening of training camp, the initial day at Barclays Center. I then attended another practice on Friday. What I've seen, man, is this team is exactly as advertised last year. They're fast, they're gritty. They're ready to work for each other. They know what it takes now to make the playoffs, and they're willing to do that to get back. They know what their identity is. I had a chance to sit down Friday and talk for about 15 minutes one-on-one with Casey Cizikas, and those are the words that he kept using a lot was, hard work, determination, grit. Just going out there with that mentality that they're not going to get outworked on any shift. And I think that speaks for the whole character of the team. And, I think when you used to always hear people say a lot about the camaraderie in the Islanders room and how a close-knit group they were and how the chemistry in there was very good. And until you get in there, you really don't have an appreciation for how true of a statement that is. It really is an incredible bunch of guys that really play for each other. And, it's not so serious all the time. They do have a couple of lighter moments in the room. Like the other day, I was talking to John Tavares, and Cizikas went to go hang his skate on the peg by his locker, and the skate ended up falling off the peg. He caught it like literally 6 inches before it took Brian Straight's ear off. And the look on Brian Straight's face was just absolutely priceless. And, of course, then the whole room erupts, and they start getting on Casey and throwing balls of tape at him, just like you would think would go on in like a high school locker room. And that really was kind of a fun thing to see, the guys being so lighthearted like that. But, I think that we got a couple of rookies that are still hanging around. The groups were split up yesterday into A and B groups. Obviously, A being the NHL group, B being the likely AHL group that's going to be playing in Bridgeport. And, still hanging around. Ryan Strome, who's looked outstanding this camp. Brock Nelson, very mature beyond his years. Matt Donovan, who I think is a shoo-in to make the team on defense. He's been the second best defenseman behind Travis Hamonic this whole camp. Just really light years ahead of himself. And surprisingly enough, Griffin Reinhart is sticking around. He's had a really good preseason as well. I do think, though, that he goes back to juniors. The only shocker for me was in net where they sent Anders Nielsen to the B group at Iceworks. So it's looking more and more likely that Kevin Poulin has indeed won that backup job behind Evgeny Nabokov.
Well, you had to think that it would be Poulin's based on experience-wise.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's fair to say.
If you take out the injuries, Poulin may have been the goalie a couple years ago. If you take out that freak of an accident on his knee, so
I think he's going to be more important than what people expect him to be this year. Because honestly, let's put it the way Nabokov played. He's obviously great for a 38-year-old, but a full 82-game schedule, there's no way he's lasting the whole year without some breaks within the season. And he is very hot and cold as well, as you can see. He did carry the Islanders in the regular season, but obviously in the playoffs he was something different because of just how good the Penguins' offense is. But I think Kevin Poulin is going to step up this year, and he's going to play a lot more games than people expect this year.
I do too, Dan. I think that a lot of people are down on Poulin. A lot of people are down, in fact, on the entire goaltending situation. I mean, any preseason procrastinator you read or any kind of preseason prediction that comes out from any of the major outlets that's the one thing they always go back to with the Islanders is the goaltending, and I don't think it's going to be, I hope it's not going to be as big of a deal as people make it out to be. I think you're right 100% in saying that Nabokov needs to be spelled, I'm thinking, between 25 and 30 games out of the 82 to keep him fresh. And I do believe in Kevin Poulin. I always have. I talk about it on the Eyes on Isles podcast as well, that, I'm a big believer in him and Matt Donovan on this team. I think they're going to make a difference this year, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people.
It's going to be a fun season to watch them because we basically watched all these. It's cool because we watched them all grow up, and now we're going to see them. Can they continue the growth?
Yeah.
Do I think they're a team that could end up winning a Stanley Cup right now?
No, they're a couple more years away.
Right.
I agree, Dan.
Like I mentioned before, they are those couple of players away. They're that one couple key players away. Maybe it's a Ryan Strome. Maybe it's a Donovan. Maybe it's who's the other guy who might be called up? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. No, he's probably
Brock Nelson.
Brock Nelson. Those guys, if we can get them playing the way they are, unlike post guys like Kyle Oposo or Josh Bailey that were forced into things, maybe we have these guys nurturing in the minors finally stepping up, and that's actually going to help the Islanders become a more all-around team other than expecting guys underachieving for a while. So I'm excited to see those players coming up. Hopefully Strome makes it. Do you think Ryan Strome has a shot at making the big club and sticking?
He's still with Group A. He's had a really, really good camp, guys. I've had a chance to see him. I've had a chance to talk to him. He's been electric in camp. He's a really smooth skater, really shifty with the puck, really crafty, gets in and out of tight spots seemingly with ease, has a snipe of a shot. The only thing that could concern me is his lack of experience and his size. I personally think that with the experiences of Josh Bailey and Nino Niederreiter, I think that Strome is probably best served going to Bridgeport and continuing to develop down there to the pro game. I think Brock Nelson is the more ready of the two, and probably deserves to be on the club before Strome right now, in my opinion. That's not to say that that's going to happen, but that's just my opinion. As far as the team goes, as you said before about them being cup ready, I agree with you. They're definitely not. I think what's important for the fan base to see, we always see the classic social media overreaction to a preseason game, and oh my God, they've been shut out 2 preseason games in a row. Fans need to keep their expectations in check. They need to keep them realistic. This team's built not to win year to year. They're built to win over a long-term period, and that's exactly what Garth Snow's done. He's restocked this system to where it's a top 5 system in the NHL long-term. This was the first camp where we've actually seen this kind of competition in a long, long time. So it's good to be an Islander fan right now, but keep your expectations in check. We're still, as you said, Dan, at least 2 years away from being even a cup contender, I believe.
But hey, that's better than nothing. Hopefully this year is the first year we actually win a playoff series. It's baby steps. Baby steps.
Exactly. Baby steps. Keep your expectations realistic.
But most Islander fans are not going to do that. If you look at Twitter.
Come on, I have friends who are already ready for no-win November.
Oh my God.
I'm not taking that step back because we all know how pessimistic I am. But I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic this year.
Well, good for you. That's a good thing to be. The sun will come out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
So it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Damn. All right. Here's the big question: who's going to be that winger on the John Tavares line? We all know Matty Ice is going to be on the other side. Who is going to be that other winger for Johnny T? I'll
tell you, we talked to Tavares. I talked to Tavares personally on Friday.
Ooh, you fancy, huh?
John really likes Bouchard there. No, I'm only prefacing that because I'm trying to quote what he said.
Okay.
Silly. John prefers Bouchard there. He really likes the way Bouchard is playing. He actually went so far as to compare Bouchard directly to P.A. Parenteau in terms of how they play. And if there's one person that I trust with making a comparison to someone's play, it's John Tavares, obviously. I just think that Bouchard's going to need a little more time to get acclimated to playing with someone of such skill that he never did before in Minnesota. And also the Islanders are a much faster team in terms of their transition system than Minnesota. So I think that's going to take some time. For anybody to condemn Bouchard, as I've seen, for having a slow camp, it's just crazy talk. It's social media crazy talk.
I'm always thinking, what would have happened without Twitter a couple years ago with the Islanders? It's just crazy of the overreaction. We've always had it without Twitter, but now with Twitter, it's just getting crazier with the overreactions. But that's definitely great to hear, especially here coming out of Captain Tavares' mouth that he has the faith in the world for Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Any shot of Bailey or Kyle Oposo cracking that? Maybe Bailey. I heard he's been having a great camp so far.
Yeah, Josh looks good. I think Josh's game has developed so much over the last 5 years. He's taken leaps and bounds after, I believe, being rushed into the league.
It's scary to think he's been in the league for 5 years.
Yeah, right. But Josh has had a really strong camp. Josh has actually been playing that position with Tavares and I call him Matt Golson on that first line in practice this week. Yesterday and today, actually, they had Bailey on that line. But that could be just Jack trying to shake things up and see kind of what comes out of it than a permanent switch. Okposo actually sat out practice today relating to the cut above his eye that he suffered at Barclays against New Jersey. The unpenalized high stick I might throw in there. We're hoping it's nothing more serious than just some swelling, but there's been no official word from the club other than he's day-to-day. I think Okposo is better served on that second line. And I really don't know if you want to break up the chemistry that Nielsen, Bailey, and Okposo have obviously showed and continually show. I'm not sure you want to break that up.
Well, one thing they do is they break it up, and then they end up bringing that back together. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Always, right?
Every year,
so
why not just split guys up?
Huh?
I'm shocked they don't try and split up Molson and Tavares and see what happens, and then you know they're going to end up back together anyway.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
That'll never happen. Those two are like they'll never be split up.
Now, we're going to talk NHL, of course, later on when we bring on AJ, Andy's son, of course. But what do you think about the realignment effect on the team this year?
Hockey's hockey. Games are games. The realignment thing, I think, has been blown out of proportion with the exception of, okay, we have a couple of more quote-unquote tough games with Detroit coming over. I don't – look, every team plays 82, 41 at home, 41 on the road. It's really that simple for me. I've never placed too much stock in that kind of stuff truly affecting the record at the end of the year. The play on the ice is going to reflect the record more than the realignment will. So, okay, yeah, so we play Detroit more than we would have normally. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make or break the Islanders in terms of making the playoffs.
Okay. So what's the odds also this year of how long does it... Actually, here's a better question. How long does it take before the Capuano's the worst coach of all time? Let's get rid of him.
2 weeks into the season.
8 minutes into the first period of Game 1 at New Jersey next Friday.
When they don't have a goal yet.
Exactly.
All right, I'm keeping you to that, Andy.
That's my Twitter answer.
That's your Twitter answer? I'm expecting that tweet at the 8-minute mark of the first period.
Well,
I'm going to look down. I'm going to yell at you.
I'll be there. So you just look, give me, throw a soda at my head or something to remind me.
Just to remind you. I'm going to make sure to remind you since I'll be sitting behind you.
No, I don't. Look, Jack's the perfect coach for this team. He's got the perfect mentality. Jack does not allow any walk-ons anymore on this club. You don't just come to the Islanders. I don't care who you are, how skilled you are. You don't come to this team and just earn ice time. I mean, you don't just rather get ice time. You need to earn ice time. And he's really a true believer in that. And that's what really is the identity of this team. And he's the perfect guy to lead it right now.
And I think he's finally getting that leadership coaching thing down pat a little bit. Like with the last couple of years, it's kind of like a college feel because it's like they're playing for scholarships kind of thing. But now they're finally growing up and being adults, sort of say that he's finally giving them the treatment of being adults.
Yep.
Sort of thing. So you're actually, I'm enjoying seeing the maturation process going. So it's going to be a tough division, definitely with the Metropolitan Division, with the Rangers, Caps, Penguins, Flyers, Devils. Who else am I missing? The Hurricane. Who else am I missing, Andy? Everybody's in that division. It's going to be a crazy division. Hopefully, we are in the top 3 or 4. I will be happy with that.
I got them at 3, personally.
So who we have ahead of them? The Penguins and who else?
Penguins. I think the Penguins' offense carries them to the number 1 spot in the Metropolitan Division.
That's a given.
I know people are going to not like this, but I just think that in a contract year, I think Henrik Lundqvist makes the Rangers very, very tough to beat. I do think that the Islanders and Rangers will battle back and forth for that 2 and 3 spot, but I have the Rangers sliding into 2 and the Islanders sliding to 3.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that too, but it's going to be interesting this year, and nobody should count out the Devils as well. It's going to be a long year for them. But with 2 awesome all-star caliber goalies, that anything can happen. So it's going to be interesting to see with those 2 guys. And what about the Capitals?
The Cap
just Ovi.
Yeah, it's going to be the same old story with them. Ovi will be bored, and then all of a sudden he'll light a fire under himself, and he'll get hot, and they'll go on a little stretch. And I don't see them being able to get over that hump. I think what you just mentioned was spot on, and that's the Devils. I thought when they lost Kovalchuk, here I was kind of celebrating a little prematurely, saying, wow, this is finally when the Devils start their true decline and have to rebuild back up again. And Lou Lamoriello, the genius, I have to point out that he is, and he is a genius, goes out and gets Corey Schneider. All right, now, Yager, Ryder, and Klo, I don't know how much that helps them. It makes them slower. It does give them a lot of experience, and it will give them a good power play. I don't think, though, with the game getting faster, that they necessarily did well in getting slower, per se, as a team.
They might be the slowest team in the whole
league. Absolutely. But then you go out and you sign Damian Brunner. You just basically hold Damian Brunner hostage.
Yeah.
And sign him to a super cheap $5 million on a 2-year deal. And I agree with you. I think with Schneider and Brodeur in the pipes, they're going to be a tough team to beat again.
Alrighty, Andy. Prediction time.
Oh,
It's just the Islanders. Just the Islanders.
okay. All right.
Just the Islanders. We're doing the NHL. Don't worry. I'm going to let you go study a little bit for the NHL. One big, bold prediction for the season.
Big, bold prediction for the season. All right.
For the New York Islanders.
Oh, for the Islanders only. That
Yes.
makes sense. Okay. For the first time in his career, Kyle Okposo hits the 30-goal mark.
Poso, 30 goals.
What
Alrighty.
about you, Steve? For
Well,
the
we have
Islanders.
him on record.
I know, but for the Islanders, what's your bold prediction?
I'm going to say if Franz is going to knock out all the haters, and he's going to prove that he's a lot better than people think. I mean, he's already a great two-way player, but
Right.
I think he's going to get to the 20-goal mark this year.
Wow. Okay.
I think he's going to make that step, and he's going to show that. That's all the talk is. Oh, he's not a second-line center. He's not a second-line center. No, I don't think he is. But to get 20 goals out of a guy who's like a third-line center,
That's bold. That's definitely bold.
Okay, and mine's going to be even bolder. You ready?
Go ahead.
I think Kevin Poulin, by the end of the year, they're going to have a full-out goalie platoon based on how well Poulin's going to be playing this year.
Nice. I like that one from a personal standpoint because I do like KP. So
I think him pretty much being behind him all year last year, and having those key, unfortunately, blowout moments in the playoffs, but he played pretty decently well.
Yep.
I think that's just going to fuel him to play even better. And like we mentioned earlier in the segment, he's going to be playing those games, and he's going to be playing a couple back-to-backs because it's just how old Nabokov is, and it's his chance to take it and run in those certain situations.
you got to think that unless the ice is melting on the Nabokov, he's not playing one back-to-back all season.
You're right, probably right, but you never know.
Unless the ice is melting with how hot he is.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
I don't
of course.
see.
Of course. That's a given. But I could see him platooning towards the end of the season on how good he's been playing.
Well, Andy, Eyes on Isles. What's the podcast for everybody to look up?
TheDumpandChasePodcast.com is our hosting site for our podcast, and EyesOnIsles.com for all your New York Islanders news. And at Eyes on Isles, F as in Frank, S as in Sam on Twitter.
Alrighty. Andy, we're going to go play a little more Freak Show by Division 1.1 and let you step away for a little bit. We're going to bring on his son, but first we're going to play a little bit more Freak Show by Division 1.1.
SNDPODCAST is no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Hockey League or any of its affiliates.
All right, welcome back to the S&D Podcast Hockey Special. This is going to be a little weird. We're going to have Andy's son, AJ. Unlike Obi-Wan, he likes the crosstown rivals Rangers, and he does write for the Blue Line Nation.
Can I just state that they're both from New Jersey and neither of them like the Devils?
Well,
And they're from like the middle of Jersey. It's not like they're near New York.
but Andy's a transplant. Let's be fair on that. But anyway, welcome to the show, AJ. How's it going tonight? Excited for the hockey season coming on?
Yep. Very good.
Alrighty. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, since we never talked about your site, your version of the websites. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it so our listeners can get an idea of what your side of the site is? I know they know it's Rangers, but
Yeah. Well, it's two editors. I'm the co-editor, and then Sean Taggart is the main editor of the site, and it's bluelinestation.com.
Oh, station. I apologize.
It's all right. And basically, we just do op-ed pieces, post-game recaps, pre-game. We do a daily piece called Two for Roughing every day. So we try to push our site as much as we can. We try to put out quality content for the readers, and Ranger fans or hockey fans even in general. So, yeah.
We also have to give AJ a lot of credit. AJ is also a junior in high school. So while he's doing all the SAT prep and everything like that, he's editing a website right now for the New York Rangers. That's pretty awesome. So congrats on that hard work. Definitely. That's definitely going to show. About this year's Rangers team, what are your key things? What do you expect the Rangers to be this year, other than Henrik Lundqvist? Because obviously we know he's going to be a guaranteed shoe-in for top 3 for the Vezina Trophy.
Yep. Well, first thing, they have to get the whole thing with Stepan squared away first. But basically my expectations for them this season, I expect them to be top 3 in the Metropolitan Division. And last year, their regular season was kind of iffy, but they got into the playoffs at the 6th seed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And they beat the Washington Capitals in the first round, and then they got absolutely obliterated by the Bruins in the second round in 5 games. So the playoffs didn't end the way they wanted them to, but I think that my expectations for them this year, I expect them to go pretty far, maybe Eastern Conference Final, and hopefully even Stanley Cup Final. But I expect them to be top 3 in the division, along with the Islanders and the Penguins. Those are my top 3. And, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could see that where you're going on. The Rangers definitely do have to still, hopefully this season they have the power play working a little bit. That they're still on the bottom tier of the power play. It's just one of those frustrating things. It's well known. I'm not a Ranger fan, but a lot of people around me are Ranger fans, so I tend to watch more Ranger games than on the games. That's just how it works. It's just really frustrating. Even though I'm not rooting for the Rangers, it's just how one team cannot be able to be good on a power play, and it's always the cute play or. Do you think with the different scheme this year, the Rangers' power play might be a little bit better?
I think that with the hiring of Alain Vigneault, he definitely brings a more laid-back and offensive style than John Tortorella did. And I think that their main focus on the power play has to be put somebody in front of the net and just shoot the puck.
I agree.
Don't try to do all these passing plays. Just shoot the puck and see what happens. And 9 times out of 10, shooting the puck usually gets a deflection or a tip in off somebody's skate. And that's how you get goals.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Unfortunately, Callahan's not going to. Callahan would be that guy on the power play, but unfortunately, he might be out for a little bit, recovering from his shoulder surgery from this summer. Him and Hagelin. Is Hagelin going to be back before the season started as well?
I believe Hagelin. He had shoulder surgery as well. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure Hagelin won't be available for the season opener. Along with Callahan. So those are going to be 2 big missing parts for the Rangers offense, definitely.
Now, who do you think will step up in that with them missing?
I think that the 2 rookies that they have, Oscar Lindberg and Jesper Fast, those 2 have 2 really big opportunities to step up and prove themselves that they can have a spot on this Rangers team. And I think that if Lindberg and Fast can both prove themselves, I think that they can possibly take the spot of Callahan and Hagelin on the main roster.
Okay.
A little bit two prospects names that Ranger fans know and love. How about what do you think about T.J. Miller and obviously Chris Kreider? I think Kreider is going to make the big team because he's finally not going to be in the doghouse with Tortorella this year. So expecting big things out of him. Yeah, other than the playoffs, of course, always. But what do you think about T.J. Miller? He did show some bright spots in the regular season last year. What do you think he's going to be as advertised this year coming up?
I think me personally, JT Miller, he's a good young forward. He has a nose for the net, and I think that he has a big opportunity as well. I think he'll be on the team this year, especially with John Tortorella gone. And I think Chris Kreider is going to have a big opportunity as well because he won't be. Last year, Tortorella kind of messed with his head a little bit, sending him down to the AHL and then bringing him back up. So I think that kind of messed with his psyche a little bit. But I think Kreider and Miller will both be on the squad this year.
Okay. So all right. So since you're predicting the Rangers in the top 3 in the Metropolitan Division, which is funny to keep on saying, instead of being the Atlantic. Who do you think is going to be the unsung hero for the Rangers this season? Do you think Brad Richards?
Not one of the regulars.
Do you think Brad Richards is going to step up and take back on after the crappy year that he almost cost his Ranger career on last year?
I think that Brad Richards, he definitely had a season last year, maybe not a positive one, but I think that this year he's going to be, with Alain Vigneault, I think he's going to be able to find himself offensively, and maybe defensively he can maybe be a two-way forward for the Rangers, but if he can get his game going offensively and provide some goals and assists here and there for the Rangers, I think that Richards could be an important part of this Rangers offense.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty much the key for this year's team. Obviously, there's the others. They got to find a way to get Nash the puck, because a lot of games last year was just Nash just circling around trying to figure it out, and he still had a nasty year. I was about to say nasty, no pun intended, obviously, but it really was impressive to see what he can do. Granted, he had a quiet playoff run, but that's expected when everybody's focusing on him solely.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see who they're going to pair him up with, and hopefully they get that line gelling. And if they get a line gelling with Nash, that could be a really nasty line tandem to be worried about. So,
if they can get the chemistry going between Nash and Richards, get that going together, and then when Hagelin comes back, get him going, throw Hagelin on that line, I think that could be a very dangerous.
That is a very nasty. That could be really awesome.
Yeah, definitely for the Rangers. Yeah.
So, Biron, of course, is the backup goalie. Do you have any expectation for him this year? I know Lundqvist is your goalie, but you know.
Yeah. The Rangers did bring Hedberg in, Johan Hedberg from the Devils.
Yeah, he got good the other day, I thought.
Yeah. But Baron will be the backup, and I think that Baron is a solid backup to Lundqvist. And when Baron is on his game, Lundqvist and Baron is possibly maybe one of the best goalie combinations in the entire league. But I'm expecting Baron to start 20 to 25 games and sort of like take the load off of Lundqvist a little bit, so Lundqvist isn't starting like 70 to 75 games. So
you're going to expect him to play a little bit more games because we're also forgot to mention there is also the Olympic break this year. So that's definitely going to put that's going to take its toll on Henrik, because obviously he's going to be starting for those 2 weeks every game for Sweden.
Yeah, you gotta.
So it's gonna be a crazy year. It's gonna be heavily. Biron's gonna have to show up in those random nights, and he has done a good job the last few years. He's become a very serviceable backup.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the defense? Obviously, with McDonough and Stahl coming back from his eye injury, that's great to see. That's obviously great to see with Stahl coming back from that awful, horrific injury. It's really great to see with him. That I think. And what about Del Zotto? Are you one of those big Ranger fans who love Del Zotto, or are you one of those guys that can't stand him?
I'm kind of back and forth with Del Zotto. I think that he has the potential to have a bounce back year, but because he does show an offensive side to his game on defense. But I'm kind of back and forth with him. Like when he has a bad game, I'm kind of like mad at him. Like,
of course.
But when he has good games, I'm like, this kid's really good, but he's just inconsistent. If he could find consistency, then he could be a really good defenseman in this league.
It's going to be interesting to see. As you can tell with the whole Tortorella tyranny and the whole Vigneault being like a nice, easygoing guy, as what we are perceived. Mm-hmm. I think the guys that were in Tortorella's doghouse a lot of last year and the years before that, I think it's either going to be a make it or break it year, obviously, because if Tortorella was right, they're going to look really stupid. So they're going to have to prove Glenn Saver wrong and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys are up in the doghouse this year if they don't prove that they were worthy of not keeping Tortorella.
Yeah.
There's a laundry list of players that you could just go by. And I think ultimately, it's even though he won't admit it, obviously Henrik Lundqvist had a lot to say with that. It was just a different feel after how good and how compelling the Capital series was. It was how frustrating and angry the ending of the Bruins series was.
Yeah.
Because they lost 2 games in OT.
Yep.
It easily could have went to 7 games, but the Rangers didn't find a way to pull out those games, and Boston was unfortunately better that series. So it's really going to be interesting to see what the Rangers do on sticking as a team and in adapting to a different style of play.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be interesting, and I could see the Rangers gelling because they're that veteran team now that they know what it takes to make it to the playoffs, and deep into the playoffs, they were really pissed off on how last year ended.
Yeah, and to talk about Tortorella, the thing that had me done with him was last year when it was during a press conference, and a reporter brought up the topic of the power play, and Hagelin was brought up, and Tortorella simply said that Hagelin stinks on the power play, and that's why he doesn't put him on. And to say that about your own player, that just wears down the confidence of your player, and that's just something that Tortorella just plain out shouldn't have done, to say that about your own guy.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. And I know Hagelin got a lot of flack in the playoff series.
Yeah.
And what he shouldn't have for playing what found out to be with a messed up shoulder. And it's really amazing how a coach would put a player under the bus, even though knowing that the guy does have a messed up shoulder and he's giving everything he's got. That was kind of out of line, and I think that started to be beginning of the end with certain things, and same with Callahan and everything like that.
Yeah,
it was just the beginning of the end, and they just needed a fresh air, a brand new coach. So it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be as dramatic as the last few years with Tortorella and Larry Brooks of the New York Post, because they always started fights with each other.
They're friendly.
Jabs. I do. I'm going to miss the post game press conferences, though.
Yeah, some of them are pretty entertaining, but I think Vigneault, it's going to be more like laid back, like kind of fresh to see.
And the Rangers need that.
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting season. What's your expectations for the bigger guys like Callahan and Nash?
For Rick Nash, I expect him to have 30 to 40 goals during the regular season, because Nash, obviously they brought him in for scoring, because the Rangers have had trouble with that the past few years. And once Callahan returns from his shoulder injury, Callahan is obviously the captain, so he's a big part of the team. And he could throw in around 20 to 30 goals, and he's a gritty player. He hits, he can fight, and he just does all the things that a coach loves for your team. So I think once Callahan comes back, and then I expect Nash to have a big year. So
yeah, I'm definitely with you with Nash. Nash is going to score anywhere from 30, 35, even 40 goals, depending on who he's lined up with. Callahan is not going to be scoring around 30 goals. I could see 25 being his ceiling, but he does everything else so well that it doesn't matter. 25 goals out of him, it's pretty awesome. The secondary scoring, other than Nash, like like Richards and all the other guys, that's where the Rangers desperately hurt last year. If Nash didn't score a goal, or Callahan, or every now and then Hagelin, Stefan, that's the biggest key. If they get Stefan back, that's if it wasn't Stefan or Nash last year, no one was scoring goals last year. So that's why the Rangers need to get Stefan signed right away. He's one of their key young pieces. And it's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna come down. I think he'll be signed before training camp. They're just playing.
Oh, it is training camp. You mean before the season?
I mean, in a week away before the season starts. I apologize.
Yeah.
It means no good for the Rangers, and Stefan know that they have to get something done.
Yeah.
So, and obviously I think Henrik Lundqvist with a contract year, he's gonna win the Vezina this year.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
It's definitely a contract year for Henrik Lundqvist. He's a restricted free agent, as we all know, next summer. And a lot of teams, unrestricted, excuse me. And a lot of teams are going to be licking their chops at the thought of having Lundqvist on their team. So the Rangers are going to need to make sure that they have enough room to lock up Lundqvist for 7 to 8 years and make sure that he stays a Ranger for the rest of his career.
Which I think is going to happen.
Which is also why they're having an issue with the Stefan contract, because they don't want to pay him so much, and then it's like, now where do we get money for Lundqvist?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Lundqvist is a tad more important than Stefan.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a tad though.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right, AJ. Something nobody talks about with the New York Rangers. Bold prediction for the season. Not NHL.
Season, not NHL. The Rangers.
Rangers.
Okay. My bold prediction is I'm expecting Henrik Lundqvist to hit the 40-win mark this season.
40. He hasn't hit the 40-win mark yet?
I don't think he has. If I'm mistaken, then you can correct me, but I don't think he's hit 40.
He definitely had to hit it a couple of years ago when they were the number 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. If that's
But then again, 2 years he could definitely hit it again. Definitely. Yeah. What's your bold prediction for the Rangers, Steve?
that Callahan will lead the team in points at the end of the year.
Okay.
That's interesting.
He's gonna be the guy. He is my favorite NHL player who isn't an Islander.
Fair enough. My bold prediction is going to be Chris Kreider is going to score 20 plus goals this year.
Okay.
I think he's finally going to gel, and just the way he played in the last 2 playoffs, he's finally going to put it all together in the regular season and prove people wrong. I think he has the potential to score 20 to 25 goals this year.
You said Kreider?
Kreider, yeah.
I'm a Kreider fan because he went to Michigan.
No, he went to BC.
Didn't he go to Michigan?
No, he went to BC.
One of them went to Michigan.
GT Miller. Kreider went to Boston College because he won the championship the same year they went to the playoffs and lost to the Devils.
No, Hagelin. Hagelin went to Michigan.
Hagelin went to Michigan. Sorry.
That was my fault. And by the way, for the Lundqvist numbers,
yeah, 2 years ago he definitely
39.
39. So I stand
11-12. He had 39. It's his career high in wins.
Wow. All right. Good call, AJ.
All right.
Played 62 games that year.
Wow. I definitely thought he hit it, especially them winning the President's Trophy.
All right, AJ, we're going to have you stick around.
All right.
Play some more Division 1.1, and we're going to bring the old man back in, and we'll talk about the NHL.
Sounds good.
So let's go play some more Division 1.1, and we'll be right back.
SND Podcast is no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Hockey League or any of its affiliates.
Alrighty, and welcome back to the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Freak Show, Division 1.1. Check them out. Great insight from both Andy and AJ.
Yeah.
Now we're going to drop the gloves.
This is going to be interesting.
Like AJ said, he's got that segment 2 for roughing.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going to get game misconducts right now between father and son. I can see it already.
But do they take each other's helmet off?
Yeah, you guys have to each take each other's helmet off.
Well, he's going to probably go all Phil Kessel Kenobi on me. And
low blow. I was waiting for that, Andy.
Yeah.
I've been tweeting and writing about it all week.
Look, I don't know what to say. The league dropped the ball. Capital B, capital I, capital G time on that one. What an absolute disgrace to give Kessel only 3 games for what he did.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. Clarkson's appealing his suspension for coming up with
No, he's actually not anymore. He withdrew his appeal when everyone told him how stupid it was.
Yeah, that would have been the worst appeal ever.
Because clearly he's the only one who didn't know he came off the bench to join LA.
Well, my opinion was he was going to leave his skates on the bench and then argue on a technicality that technically he was still on the bench.
If you leave your skates and the jersey on the bench, technically he is there.
He ran on in bare feet, so technically he was still on the bench because his skates were there. So.
Man, his feet must have been really cold.
So what did AJ have to say about his pride and joy?
Pretty much the same for you. Top
you're
3.
You're gonna have to listen.
Yeah, that definitely gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah, I stepped out because I didn't want to make him nervous. I know, talking about how much the Rangers are in trouble cap wise and going downhill.
Well, other than that, he's expecting top 3, battling with the Islanders.
Really? All right. Well,
which I could see.
I wonder if Brendan Shanahan's going to listen and give you guys suspensions for this. I could see it already.
We haven't done anything suspendable yet. But
I can't wait for
Not yet.
his doofy YouTube video why the person gets suspended. It's always fun.
Well, it depends. Does one of you have your jersey tucked, by the way?
I don't. I never tucked my jersey when I played, and I still don't tuck it now when me and him shoot the puck around at the local
I'm
rink.
with
So
you on that.
Dumbest rule ever.
It is the dumbest rule ever, but I wouldn't tuck my jersey in anyway. It feels it's completely uncomfortable.
I have a better.
I'll say this for my son. He's a dirty player. I can say that because when we go play on weekends, we'll sometimes go to the local rink and there'll be a couple of kids down there and we'll choose up and we'll play. And sometimes we're on the same team, sometimes not. And you just throw your sticks in the middle and whatever sticks come out, obviously. But he's dirty. He gets his stick up a lot. So I think next time that happens, the gloves are definitely going to come off.
Yeah.
Better question. Who's going to be the first ref to go up to Jaromir Jagr and tell him to untuck his jersey?
I don't think the players are going to even. It's such a stupid rule that I don't even think they're going to bother breaking it. I mean, it's like not even worth it. It's like jersey in, jersey out. Look, the only guy worthy of ever wearing his jersey in is Wayne Gretzky anyway. So
You can argue Jagr.
yeah, well,
What about also Ovechkin likes to have his jersey tucked a lot.
Yeah.
he does.
Lazy
And
Russians don't count.
Ovi was
Hey, that's my line.
Ovi was the most outspoken.
But I am Russian.
On that.
That's true. So that's why you're lazy. Anyway.
That explains a lot.
Yes. So, all right, let's start off with the Metropolitan Division. Let's get this ball rolling. Who's going to win the division? And who's going to be the surprise of this division?
I'll let AJ go first since he's of the he follows the worst team, so I'll let him go first.
Ooh.
And ding ding, round one.
All right, so division champion, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
And surprise team, I have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
So
I can see that.
Where
I
would
can
the
actually
Blue where would the Blue Jackets surprise? Finish like fourth place?
I would say, yeah, fourth or fifth.
All right. How about you, Obi-Wan over there?
Obi-Wan say, actually Yoda say.
Oh,
The,
Yoda.
Rangers do not play playoffs.
The Penguins of Pittsburgh win the division. They will.
Somebody's been playing the new Angry Birds a little too much.
That was a really good Yoda. Look,
That was pretty
That was a really good.
I want Adam Rank to hear that because I want to be next to Adam when he does his next show. That's how good that Yoda was. I could be Adam's Yoda.
We'll let him know.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's offense is just too powerful to not win that division. My surprise team is the Carolina Hurricanes. I think with Cam Ward healthy, they got a really good offense to begin with. I think they're my surprise team.
Okay, now we're going to move. By the way, listen later for our outro. After the segment, Dan and I will give our predictions as well. All right, Andy, we're going to start with you this time. The newly Atlantic Division.
Atlantic Division. My team the whole time since last year when they really impressed me is the Ottawa Senators. With obviously some people are going to look down on that with Boston and Detroit in that division, but Ottawa's just so well coached, so well.
Detroit's in the Atlantic Division.
Yep,
it's like the Cowboys being in the East Division.
Pretty much, yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So I got Ottawa in the Atlantic, and my surprise team in the Atlantic is going to be. I'm going to say the Tampa Bay Lightning. I got a pretty good feeling about Ben Bishop, the huge 6'7" goaltender that they got starting this year. I think they'll surprise some teams.
All right, AJ, you're up.
All right, Atlantic Division champion, Boston Bruins. I've always loved they got a solid defense. Tuukka Rask is a formidable goaltender. And my surprise team is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh.
And it begins.
Maple Leafs. My goodness, ain't that going for a stretch?
Hey, it's got to be different than Dad.
Oh no, let's have AJ defend him on that. AJ, why you think the Maple Leafs?
Well, I like the Maple Leafs. I've always liked Jonathan Bernier. I've always thought that he was a solid goaltender, and I've always liked Phil Kessel. He's been one of my favorite players
because he's dirty, like you.
Because he swings his stick around, we know.
Hi-yo! Paul Bunyan.
Do you think Jonathan Bernier is going to take the job from James Reimer?
I think it's possible. Yeah.
Wow.
And what do you think about the signing of David Clarkson?
That's definitely going to bring them some help on offense. David Clarkson has a nose for the net. He could score.
Well, not for the first 10 games.
He showed in New Jersey he has the ability to score some dirty goals.
Yeah, but he was very streaky last year and the years past, but he's definitely going to help the Maple Leafs, but he was worth way too much money.
You know, the Devils could have re-signed him if Kovalchuk retired first.
Awkward.
Awkward.
They probably would have had the cap room for him.
They probably would have had Parisi, too.
Oh, ooh, ouch.
That hurts.
Don't say that word. Don't say that word in Jersey. They don't like that word.
That's a low blow.
So we shouldn't bring the sign, you should have kept Parise next week?
Yeah, exactly. No. I mean, we can, yeah, because we're Islander fans.
All I got was this lousy shirt.
And I am there next week as a fan, so I'll have to get all my fandom out in that one night.
Hey, join us. We'll be there yelling. Don't worry.
It's gonna be a good time.
I'll have to get you all the lyrics for the Blue and Orange Army.
Yes, you definitely have to do that.
There's a website. I got to get it for you.
I think I have it, but if I don't have it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, you could always ask T-Bone.
T-Bone.
He's got nothing better to do. Him and his flip phone.
He's got a flip phone?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna abuse him for that.
There's a Facebook group called T-Bone's Flip Phone.
I abused Rich Diaz, our copy editor on Eyes on Isles. Great guy, my partner in crime. But man, I abused the heck out of him. He's got a Inspector Gadget phone. Like, freaking antenna comes out of his shoe and he takes. His
oh my god!
Doing, dude.
T-Bone's joke is that he's not going to download iOS 7 for his flip phone because he's too busy playing Tetris.
Yeah, that's clever.
Good old T-Bone.
All right, let's get back.
Well, now that we gave T-Bone a shout out,
back on track.
T-Bones.
All right, now we're going to move to the West because the NHL decided to only make 2 divisions. Let's start with the furthest from us. Let's go with Pacific. Who's going first over there?
I'll take it first. Division champion in the Pacific, the LA Kings, and my surprise team is the Edmonton Oilers.
I like that one. I do like that surprise team.
I've always liked the Oilers. They showed it last night against the Rangers. They have the ability to, with that young offense that they've got over there. They've got the ability to score some nice goals.
First off, don't ever talk over me again. Don't ever talk before me again.
Are you talking to us or your son?
I'm talking to my son.
Oh, okay.
I would never talk to the host like that. Come on, I know better than that. I'm talking.
Yeah, we're at that point. We're all family.
A Ranger fan never talks over an Islander fan.
You stayed silent. I had to
Ever.
take advantage.
A Ranger fan never talks over an Islander fan. That's it.
Hey, little child abuse going on right over there.
We're recording this, so
he is still under 18, Andy.
Call the number. I dare you. I got connections too.
Hey, she.
All right. Pacific Division, Western Conference. I kind of agree with AJ on the Kings. I think Jonathan Quick is arguably the second best goaltender in the entire league, and that's why they win that division. My surprise team, I do like the trendy pick that he made of the Oilers because of their offense, but I still think they have no defense and no goaltending, and that does them in. You know what? How about this, AJ?
What?
The Vancouver Canucks, led by Mr.
Mr. Tortorella. Mr. Tortorella with his famous press conference.
I think they're going to be a good hockey club. I think they eventually will buy into his, at least for the first year anyway, his kind of dominating coaching style. And I think they do pretty well in that division.
Okay, better question. Will there be a riot in Vancouver?
Absolutely.
Yes. In
fact, I think there's one going on right now as we speak.
Does Luongo last the whole entire season?
They have no choice, right? They got rid of Corey Schneider.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. A couple games in the doghouse with Tortorella.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll definitely happen, and I'm sure Bobby Lou will get in trouble for tweeting as well because Tortorella obviously does not like Twitter and has told his team to stay off of Twitter. So
didn't he say something about reporters using cell phones too?
He says everything about reporters. He hates us all. It doesn't matter.
He clearly hates everybody.
And you know what they say, the person who hates everybody really deep down hates themselves.
Well, sucks to be him then.
I love the uncomfortable silence after I said
Anywho.
That's coming out of a rookie, too. Someone's rookie season and he's talking out of line towards a coach like that.
I hear you.
Yikes.
All right, Central Division, Western Conference.
I guess Andy's going first.
I will not let a Ranger fan ever talk over me
I
again.
guess so, yeah.
He's lucky he didn't get a beatdown for that.
So what was that belt hitting noise that we heard?
Andy, child services, man. Jeez.
You didn't hear anything. You can't not say the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, come on. Defending Stanley Cup champions, coming back with their roster pretty much intact. A couple of second, third line pieces missing. But still up and down the roster, I think the Blackhawks win that division fairly easily, especially with Detroit moving out of it. My surprise team in that division is going to be the St. Louis Blues. I think they're a team that's built up and down the lineups very similar to the Islanders. And they are a very, very good hockey team. They have 3 potential number 1 goalies in Brian Elliott, Yaroslav Halak, and Jake Allen. Very, very deep hockey team.
Okay, AJ, you're up.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I have to agree with my father. The Chicago Blackhawks winning the division. I mean, defending Stanley Cup champions, record win streak. Can't bet against that. And my surprise team is the Winnipeg Jets.
Don't tell any of the Islander fans that.
Evander Kane, Dustin Byfuglien.
Yeah.
Got a pretty good team over there.
Oh, did Dustin Byfuglien lose weight, or is he still 9,000 pounds?
I think he's 8,000. I think he dropped 1,000 in the offseason.
Very nice. Good for him. It's like Rex Ryan.
That's the one guy that when he hits you, he hurts you and himself. That's how hard he hits. And the boards.
Well, this is true.
Guy's an absolute beast.
Hey, I want them to be an Islander a couple of years ago.
I know.
But now he's too fat. With the Coliseum walls, it wouldn't work.
I'll forget it. He'd bring the whole building down.
They'd be in Brooklyn a lot quicker if he did that.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to get the 8 from you guys. 8 East, 8 West teams.
8 East, 8 West.
For the playoffs.
All right. Well, let's do it this way because the new playoff format this year says that the top 3 teams in each division get a playoff spot. And then the next 2 best records in the conference get the wild cards. So it goes division set up for the first 6, and then it goes conference for the 2 wild cards. So I'll say the Metropolitan Division playoff teams are Pittsburgh, the Rangers, and the Islanders. I'll say the Atlantic Division playoff teams are Boston, Detroit, and Ottawa. My wild card teams are Washington and Montreal.
Okay. AJ, you're East.
All right. For the Metro, I have Pittsburgh, Rangers, Islanders, Atlantic, Boston, Ottawa, Toronto. And my wild card teams are Columbus and Detroit.
So Toronto's going to beat out Detroit for a division playoff spot. I should put some money on that one.
Are we getting this bet right here on air?
Yeah. He's making his own money. He can do with it what he will.
AJ, it's on you now. He's thinking about it. I could hear it.
He's contemplating. I could see it in his face.
He's definitely rolling his eyes back and forth.
No, he's actually picking up a bat right now. I'm a little frightened.
Yikes. He's
that GTA game, man.
Yeah.
It's that GTA. Oh, man, I'm telling Rockstar Games, they should be sued. They should be out of business. All they do is cause violence. Western Conference, let's see. Western Conference, Pacific Division, Los Angeles, Vancouver, San Jose. I really don't see any of the other teams overtaking them for the top 3. Central Division, Chicago, St. Louis, Dallas. Wild card spots to Phoenix and Nashville.
Okay. AJ?
Right. For the Pacific, LA, Vancouver, San Jose. For the Central, Chicago, Nashville, St. Louis. And my wild cards are Edmonton and Winnipeg.
Alrighty. Keep in mind, Dan and I will do all this a little later on. We don't want to give it all away now to you guys. Make you guys listen, just like everybody else.
You got to keep them hanging on, Steve.
All right, we're going to do 5 major awards. We're
Okay.
going to do the MVP award, the Norris Trophy, Best Defenseman, the Rookie of the Year, Calder Trophy, the Vezina for goalie, which we already know who AJ is going to pick. And, of course, the Coach of the Year.
Okay.
All right, so why don't we start with Coach of the Year?
Okay. It's Coach of the Year. Wow. Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year.
The name slips, you can give the team name.
No, it's all right. I'm actually just thinking of, it's such an arbitrary award, right? Because sometimes the guy who you think should win it doesn't, and it's really a team who comes out of nowhere. You know what? I'll say that it goes to Paul McLean, 2nd year in a row in Ottawa.
Okay. AJ?
I'm going to give it to Dan Bylsma in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Once Fleury completes his requisite therapy session and gets his head straight.
Until the postseason.
Until the postseason, right? Well, hey, the award's based on the regular season, so that's not a bad choice.
It's true. Alrighty, let's go Rookie of the Year.
Calder Trophy, I think considering that Nathan MacKinnon was, to my dismay and anger, handed a spot on the Colorado Avalanche before he even stepped on the ice by Patrick Waugh, that gives him an immediate, not only was he the first overall selection, but basically being handed a job in the NHL. I think he has the skills. I don't think that team's going to be very good, but I think that at the end of the day, MacKinnon will end up being the brightest rookie of the bunch this year.
AJ?
My pick is Jonathan Drouin.
Good pick.
Okay. Alrighty. We'll let AJ go first on this one, Andy.
If you have to.
We'll let him do the goalie pick because we know who he's going to pick already.
Why even let him do it? It's
I think it's pretty obvious. It's got to go to Henrik.
All right, so Queen Henry.
I gotta, you know what? As much as it pains me to agree with him on much, I just think that in a contract year, the fact that he's playing for probably his last contract of his career he's going to put up humongous numbers. I'm talking in the area of a sub 210 goals against, 40 wins. I also think it goes to Lundqvist.
Alrighty. And now the award that I think they should change the name to the Nicholas Lindstrom Award. The Norris Trophy.
Norris Trophy. Best defenseman in the NHL. I think this is the year that Ryan Suter in Nashville, who I thought probably should have won it last year, I think wins it this year.
Alrighty. For the Norris, I'm going to take Drew Doughty from LA.
Ooh.
I like that one.
He's going to have a bounce back year, AJ thinks.
Alrighty. Now, usually the NHL likes to just give this award to Crosby or Ovechkin. Because it's just easier for them and,
The Hart Trophy.
The Hart Trophy.
Well, last year it was the Heartless Trophy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You mean when he stopped playing on that one play against the...
Oh, dude, I freaked out. I was like, that is not the definition of an MVP.
His controller went dead. You saw the thing.
Yeah, that was great. That's the furthest from an MVP right there. I think that I do believe, I know this is going to sound like a homer pick, but I do believe second year in a row the Isles will make the playoffs. I think they'll even win a round this year, which they haven't done in forever. And I think the recognition will all go to number 91, John Tavares. I think he wins the Hart Trophy this year.
You know what's funny? Nah, I know it's not really funny. But know how you mentioned the Islanders haven't won a playoff series since '93?
Right.
AJ hasn't even been born yet.
That's correct. He wasn't.
He wasn't even born for the Ranger Cup, so it's okay.
I try explaining to him, like, for instance, the grace and the pure brilliance of a player like Mario Lemieux, who he unfortunately never got a chance to witness. And
Oh, whenever my dad and I went to an Islander Penguin game, we'd always be standing on Pittsburgh's side of the ice during warm-ups.
yeah, unbelievable,
Mario and Yager.
unbelievable.
It was just we'd always stand on the Islanders' side for any other team, but when Pittsburgh was in town, always had to watch Mario and Yager.
But yeah, I think this is JT's year. I do. I think he's motivated even more so than last year. I think his ascension skill-wise has been absolutely incredible, and I really don't think there's much standing in his way this year. I think the recognition has to come.
All right, AJ, you'll probably disagree.
My pick for MVP is Pavel Datsyuk.
Wow. Be a first-time winner, right?
Yeah.
First time winner, also being in the new conference, definitely could change things up.
It's a good, bold pick. I like it, going out on a limb. I like going out on a limb like that. It's good.
That was a good pick.
Yeah.
He's got some interesting picks over there. Kid
Yeah,
must have money on something. Well, EyesOnIsles.com, BlueLineStation.com, right, AJ?
Yep.
Both of you guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah. Can't wait to talk to you guys on a daily basis, and can't wait to have you guys on the show soon. Again, thanks again, as always.
Follow them both on Twitter. They're not just hockey writers. They're fun guys to follow and talk to.
Yeah, I'm at Tasman19, and AJ is at @A_Graz24.
Yes, and we do retweet their articles, so make sure you read them, both of them. Check out the websites. Thank you for both of you for joining us for this. We hope there aren't any black eyes over there.
Thanks for having us on, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Not a problem.
No problem. Let's go play a little more Division 1.1, and we'll be right back.
S&D Podcast is no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Hockey League or any of its affiliates.
Welcome back to the S&D Podcast Hockey Special. That was awesome segments that we just had with Andy and AJ. They both had their very interesting take on certain awards and division winners. Steve, want to start off with us? What you expect for the Metropolitan Division?
Alrighty. We're going to do Metropolitan first?
Yeah, might as well get
the Metros out of the way?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with the team to beat in that division, of course, is Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Of course, will be Pittsburgh. They'll be the one team in that league. And my surprise team out of that division is going to be... I'm going to go with AJ on this one and say the Blue Jackets.
Okay. This is boring to the point because I'm going to go with the Penguins as well. For my surprise team, I'm actually going somewhere different opposed to year 3. I'm going to go with the Devils. No one expects the Devils to do anything this year, considering how crappy they don't have anything. But they do have 2 awesome top-of-the-line goaltenders that are going to just steal games, obviously, away from other opponents. And they're going to find ways to find ways to win certain games that no one expects them to win. I do like their coach, and I think they're going to find ways and they're going to sneak into the playoffs.
Okay. All right, go first with the Atlantic.
With the Atlantic, it's kind of hard. I want to say Detroit.
Wins.
I'm going to say Detroit wins because, actually, yeah, I say Detroit wins because they're new to the whole Eastern Conference, and they're just always been a class of the Western Conference that their skills are going to be outmatched. They're going to be able to outmatch anybody with speed and use their different skill set because everybody's going to find a way to bang around. So I think they're going to find a way to win.
Okay. And your surprise team from that division?
My surprise team. I think the Canadians are going to be better than what people expect. They're just they're like the Yankees of hockey. Granted, the whole set 23 how many 23 Stanley Cups?
I lost count.
Yeah, they're like the Yankees, and the last couple of years they fell flat on their face, and they're not going to be taking that lightly anymore. Carey Price is one of the elite goalies in the league, so that's how you win games, is by having great goalies and finding ways to win. They also have the defending Norris Trophy winner in PK Subban. They just are tougher. If they didn't choke in Game 7 against the Bruins, then one of the most epic collapses ever, they would have found a way to go far in the playoffs. And I think this is not going to be a surprise this year.
Okay. I'm going to have to agree more with AJ on one part and Andy on the other part for this division. I'm going to take Boston to win it.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Tampa's going to be a surprise. I think they're young and they're hungry. They got one of the best elite players in the league in Stamkos. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do, and I think Hedman's ready to take that next step. Alrighty. Pacific Division. We'll go furthest away. I'll start this one.
Okay.
I'm going to think the Sharks are going to win it.
Okay.
No, I'm not just saying that so Kayla doesn't kick my ass or something. I'm saying it because that's who I think will win it. I think the Sharks will win that division. And my surprise in that division is actually going to be the Ducks.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the Canucks. I think they're just
to win it.
I think the Canucks are going to win it. With Tortorella, it's actually what the Canucks needed. It was really like a good coaching swap. Both teams needed what the other team got tired of, in a sense.
I'm shocked nobody decided to make it into a reality TV show.
But it is true. What the Rangers needed is what the Canucks needed, and vice versa. So they both make out good in this deal. So I think Vancouver is going to win the division.
Okay.
They're still that class of that division. And the surprise team is going to be the Kings. Jonathan Quick, as long as Jonathan Quick's between the pipes, they're going to be a team to reckon with. So I think I'm going to go with LA. All right, next division. What do you think with the Central?
Alrighty. Now, the other guys, Andy and AJ, both had the Kings winning. Nope, they didn't.
No, they had the Blackhawks.
They had the Blackhawks winning. Yeah, I'm going to give the Blackhawks the win.
Okay.
But my surprise in that division, one of them had the Jets, one of them had the Blues. My surprise in that division will actually be the Minnesota Wild.
It's funny you say that, too, and this wasn't scripted. I was thinking about the Minnesota Wild as well. They had a big offseason last year. It didn't obviously,
and they didn't gel. They didn't have
get
that
to
time.
gel because of the whole league didn't start till January nonsense. So I think this year they're going to finally find a way to gel and actually be a lot better than expected. So I think Minnesota is going to be a team to reckon with. Of course, Nashville and St. Louis are both two good teams as well.
Yes.
So it might be three teams make the playoffs out of the division regardless.
3 teams no matter what. Each division makes it play.
Okay.
It's 3 teams each division.
And then 2 wild cards.
And then 2 from
whoever. Okay, gotcha. All right. So with that being said, who do you think making the playoffs in the Western Conference?
Western Conference, I'm going to put my 3 out of the Central are going to be the Hawks, the Wild, Blues.
Okay.
Out of there.
Okay.
My 3 Pacific teams are going to be, of course, who I said will win it in the Sharks.
Yeah. Sharks.
Sharks, I think.
Vancouver.
No.
Okay.
I don't think they're guaranteed a spot. I think the Ducks.
Okay.
And the Kings.
Okay. Fair enough.
But my 2 wild cards will be the Preds. Not the Preds. Will actually be both out of the Pacific. Going to be Coyotes in Phoenix and Vancouver.
Okay. Wow. All right. With me, I'm going to obviously say Chicago because I have them winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I have I'm going to have St. Louis, and I'm going to have Nashville making it out.
Out of the Central.
Making it out of the Central.
Okay.
And for the Pacific, I got obviously the Canucks because they're my division.
Mm-hmm.
Sharks, and I have the Kings. And then making the playoffs from
The 2 wild card spots.
wild card spots, I have Minnesota and Winnipeg.
Oh, that's right. The Jets moved to the West. Ugh, realignment. Alrighty.
Finally. All right. How about this? We'll start with the Atlantic Division.
All right. You go first with the East.
All right. With the All right. I'm gonna go top 3. I'm gonna go Boston, Detroit, and Montreal. For Metropolitan, I have Washington, Rangers, and Islanders.
No Pittsburgh?
Did I say Pittsburgh?
No, you said Washington, Rangers.
No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say.
Scratch that. I apologize. Pittsburgh, Rangers, Islanders, no particular order.
Okay.
Obviously, other than Pittsburgh, the Islanders and Rangers are going to duke it out. And for the wild card, I have the Washington Capitals and the
Devils. You said before they're going to make it.
Yeah, I'll go say the Devils. I'll stick with that.
Okay. In the East, we're doing Atlantic first.
Yeah.
Because we have Boston and Detroit. I'm also going to give the Sens a spot.
Okay.
Boston, Detroit, and Sens. Guaranteed.
Damn it. All right, sorry. I'll stick with my pick.
Okay. Of course, Pittsburgh, Isles, and Rangers. I mean...
Yeah, obviously.
It's not even for the show. It's just because that's who I think. And as for my wild card teams, I'm going to put, I think Columbus is going to make it.
Wow.
And I think Tampa's going to make it.
Okay.
Those are my picks.
All right.
So now we're going to do the awards.
Okay.
And just like we did with Andy and AJ, we're going to start with the Coach of the Year.
The Coach of the Year, I'm going to go Vigneault for the Rangers.
Rangers coach?
I think he's what the Rangers need. A nice laid-back player coach. They're veteran enough for them to not every little play they'll get benched for something stupid. Vigneault is very easygoing, but he knows when to press the right buttons. Lundqvist is a contract year, so that's going to help him carry a little bit more. Not too long ago, the Rangers did win the President's Trophy. So last time they played a full season, the Rangers did win the President's Trophy. So I'm going to go with Vigneault.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Red Wings coach and Mike Babcock.
Okay. They're always solid. He can't disagree with that one.
Is it safe to say we both think the Queen's going to win? Or the King?
Yeah, Henrik's winning the
Rookie of the goalie of the year?
Yeah, Vezina this year.
All right. Rookie of the year for you.
Rookie of the year of me. I'm gonna go with the Homer pick, and I think he's gonna surprise more people than expected. And I think Ryan Strom's gonna find a way to make the big team and become the Rookie of the year.
Okay. I'm actually gonna go with somebody right out of the draft who should have been the first overall pick last year, but for some reason kept falling, in Seth Jones, the defenseman out of Nashville. I think he's going to team up with Sutter for most of the season. Not Sutter, Shea Weber.
Yeah.
And just dominate in Nashville together. Two really big guys, basically. Okay, defenseman of the year. You're up.
Defenseman of the year, PK Subban won last year. I'm going to go Shea Weber from the Predators.
I'm going to go with somebody who should have won it last year if he didn't have his ACL cut in the middle of a game, and Erik Karlsson.
Yeah, he definitely, good call on that one.
And he should have won it last year, but like I said, I think he won it 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was a tough break.
And should have won it again. I think he's due to win it for multiple years from here on out.
Absolutely.
He's not just a great defenseman, he's a great all-around hockey player. All right, MVP.
Okay. Obviously, I would love to have Tavares win. But I think it's gonna it's gonna go to Pittsburgh, and it's gonna be Evgeny Malkin. He's just a world-class player, and even with Crosby being out most of the season last year, Gino was just being Gino, and he had an awesome year last year.
Yep.
And there's no reason for me not to say Gino.
I'm going to go with the Homer pick. Like Andy said, it's his time to win it. I'm going to have to go with JT. I think that he's the most valuable player to his team, and he just is well deserving of the trophy. Deserved it last year, and he didn't get it. But this year, he's just going to prove that he really does deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's fun watching him right in front of our eyes, becoming an elite hockey player, which we all hoped. So that's definitely awesome to see that. But I think Malkin's going to find a way to win it this year.
Alrighty. Once again, I'd like to thank Andy.
Thank you,
Eyes on
Andy.
Aisles.
Thank you, AJ.
AJ, BlueLineStation.com. They also just hired our good friend Jared.
Congratulations to Jared.
Congratulations to Jared. Look for his articles coming out soon.
It's going to be a fun season.
We're going to have them both on, of course, hopefully.
Buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be actually an 82-game season, which is going to be awesome. How awesome last season was. It's going to be an epic season, and let's go Islanders. And for those who like the Rangers, let's go Rangers for those people. And those people, casual Devil fans, I know a few. So for them, let's go Devils as well. Enjoy your hockey. And
yes, it starts on the 1st, I believe it is.
Yes, it starts on the 1st. So
can't wait.
Let's get weird. Let's get, is it October yet? So
it is October, next week. Some people may be listening to it, and it is October.
Yeah, so enjoy your hockey, and stay tuned for a lot of fun hockey segments out of us this year.
Yes. Enjoy the hockey. Let's go play a little more Division 1.1. Don't forget to check them out. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know. We tell you all the time. Check us out. Check out Division 1.1 as well. Night, guys.
Good night.